Today, we are going to explore a huge question. A question that affects every country, every government, every business, and every person on Earth. How much debt does the world really have? And who owes all this money? Welcome to How Much Things. Let's break this down in very simple, clear, and beginner-friendly words. Before we talk about world debt, we must understand one thing. Debt is not always bad. Debt simply means borrowing money now and paying it back later. Countries borrow money. Businesses borrow money. People borrow money. They borrow for different reasons: to build roads, create jobs, run governments, or survive emergencies. So world debt is not one big loan. It is the total of all the money borrowed by every nation, every company, and every person combined. And this total number is massive. So, how much debt does the world have right now? According to global financial reports, the world owes more than $300 trillion in debt. Yes, you heard that correctly. 300 trillion. This is the highest level of debt in human history. To understand how big this number is, if you earn $100 every second, it would still take you over 100,000 years to earn $300 trillion. That is how massive global debt has become. World debt is divided into three big groups. Government debt, money countries borrow. Household debt, money families borrow. Corporate debt, money businesses borrow. Let's understand each one easily. 1. Government debt. This is the amount a country owes. Governments borrow money to build roads, airports, and schools, run hospitals and public services, support the economy, pay salaries, handle emergencies, like wars or pandemics. Almost every country on Earth has government debt. Some countries have small debt. Some have very large debt. But nearly all modern nations use debt to run their systems. 2. Household debt. This includes home loans, car loans, credit cards, education loans. This is the debt ordinary people. In many countries, household debt is rising because living costs are going up faster than incomes. 3. Corporate debt. This is debt taken by businesses, factories, tech companies, energy companies, banks. Businesses borrow money to expand, hire people, invest, and grow their companies. In some countries, corporate debt is even higher than government debt. Now the big question: which countries have the most debt? Let's break it down in simple words. 1. The United States. The United States is the most indebted country in the world. The U.S. government alone owes over $34 trillion. This does not include household debt, corporate debt. If we combine everything government plus businesses plus people, total U.S. debt is more than $100 trillion. But why does the U.S. have so much debt? Because the U.S. dollar is the global currency. Countries trust the U.S. economy, so America is able to borrow a lot more than other nations. To China, China is the second most indebted country. China's government debt is high, but China's corporate debt is even higher. Chinese companies borrow a lot to grow fast. That is how China built factories, highways, and huge industries at high speed. China's total debt is over $47 trillion. 3. Japan has one of the highest government debt levels in the world compared to its economy size. Japan's aging population and slow growth make borrowing necessary. Japan's total debt is around $30 trillion. For European Union countries, countries like France, Italy, Germany, Spain, UK, all have very high debt levels. Europe's combined debt is over $55 trillion. Many European countries borrowed heavily during the financial crisis and the pandemic. 5. The rest of the world. Other big contributors include India, Brazil, Canada, Australia, South Korea, and many more. Almost every country in the world has debt, and the numbers are rising every year. Why does world debt keep growing? This is the important question. Why does debt keep increasing? Shouldn't it go down? Let's keep it simple. There are 5 big reasons. Reason 1. Inflation prices go up every year, so the value of money goes down. To keep up, countries borrow more. Reason 2. Economic growth. Countries borrow to grow. They invest in infrastructure industries, technology, education. The more a country wants to grow, the more it usually borrows. Reason 3. Crises, wars, pandemics, and natural disasters force countries to borrow quickly. During COVID-19, global debt jumped massively because governments had to support businesses and people. Reason for low interest rates for many years? Borrowing was cheap. Countries took loans because interest was low. Now interest rates are rising, but the debt remains. Reason 5. Modern economies run on credit. Our world is built on borrowing. Most homes are bought on loans. Most businesses use loans to grow. Banks lend money to earn interest. Governments borrow to run services. Debt is part of the global financial system. Who owns all this debt? This is a question many people never think about. If countries owe money, who do they owe it to? The answer is interesting. Countries owe money to banks, investors, pension funds, insurance companies, other countries, international organizations, and their own citizens. In many cases, people inside the country actually hold most of the debt. For example, most U.S. debt is owned by Americans, not foreigners. Now comes the important part. Is rising debt dangerous? The answer is, it depends. Debt becomes dangerous when growth slows. Borrowing becomes expensive. Inflation rises. Countries cannot pay interest. If debt grows faster than income, it becomes a problem. Some countries have already reached risky levels. This is the part people misunderstand. World debt is huge. But that does not mean the world will collapse. Debt is a tool. It depends how you use it. Healthy debt helps countries grow. Unhealthy debt creates financial problems. The world is not in a collapse situation yet. But global debt rising too fast is a warning sign. Economists say debt is safe till it's not. Here is the truth. Debt will keep increasing. Countries will borrow more. People will borrow more. Businesses will borrow more. The real question is, can debt grow slower than the economy? If yes, the world stays stable. If no, the world faces financial risks. Some experts believe interest rate changes and inflation will make debt harder to manage. Others believe technology, AI, and new industries will help countries grow enough to manage their debt. The future is uncertain. But one thing is sure. Debt will always exist. Let's summarize everything in simple words. The world has over $300 trillion in debt. Most debt comes from governments, companies, and households. The US, China, Japan, and Europe hold the most debt. Debt keeps rising because the world economy runs on borrowing. Debt is not always bad, but too much debt can cause problems. The future depends on how countries manage borrowing and growth. Debt sounds scary, but it is simply part of how modern economies work. This is how much the world owes. And who owes the most? This was How Much Things. If you enjoyed learning something new today, make sure to explore more videos on global resources, money, and the hidden numbers behind our world. Thanks for watching.